Welcome to another episode of Mars Day with Mark. It's your host with the most, Mr. Meyer with the fire, here to share ideas and take the collective vibration higher. Welcome to the Inner Temple Fire family. This is the chart. This is the breakdown. 54 weeks into this series. I hope you guys are having a blessed day, your best day of your life. Whether you realize it or not, that's what today is. So life is ultimately what you make it, guys. I'm about to run you through the astrology of the week so we get an idea of what vibrations are to come. But ultimately, don't forget that you are a creative being. So there's nothing new under the sun. While these are new times to record in history, we've seen this shit before, man. Truly, pattern recognition is everything. So my intention here today is to speak love and life into you folks and to help you build a relationship with the solar system. And while doing so, realize that you are a star, and that makes you a solar system. Your body is quite literally the system your soul needed to incarnate. So that's beautiful. And if you guys are new to Mars Day with Mark, let me run you through the itinerary, let you know what's about to go down. If you aren't new, welcome back, Fire Fam. It's good to see you guys, beautiful smiling faces. And if you have any comments, suggestions, input on how I could improve this series, I'm so down to hear it. I'd love to read your comments and make this even better. Because I get a lot out of these videos, but I ultimately make them for you guys. Like I said, what I get out of these is the ability to serve, my need to help others is fulfilled with this. And it feels good to receive the love from you guys. But ultimately, I want these videos to go further and deeper, okay? So the first thing we're going to do, guys, is we're going to run through this chart. We're going to talk about where the planets are today on June 18th, and then where they're going to end up 1 week from now on June 25th, Tuesday to Tuesday, Mars Day with Mark. We're going to start with the degree breakdown. I'm going to run you through the numbers, and then we're going to take a step-by-step approach through all the planets. Arguably not all the planets, because we could go past Pluto. I don't know if we got that kind of time today, y'all. So without further ado, let's get it. Today, on this beautiful Tuesday, we have the sun at the 28th degree of Gemini, making its way through the final degrees. That's beautiful. We got the moon in the sunken place, Scorpio moon day. Yikes. That's a good thing. We've got Mercury in a conjunction with Venus in Cancer, Mercury at 3, Venus at 2. We've got Mars at 7 degrees of Taurus. We've got Jupiter at 5 degrees of Gemini. Saturn is at 19 degrees of Pisces. Uranus is at 25 Taurus. We've got Neptune at 29 degrees of Pisces in 53 minutes, guys. A huge shift is happening, and we're going to talk about it. We got Pluto retrograde at 1 degree of Aquarius today, and we've got our North Node at 11 degrees of Aries, and that's going to put the South Node at 11 degrees of Libra. And the Black Moon Lilith is at 28 Virgo in 51 minutes. So a lot of shifts are happening, guys. What the fuck is this shift? So a week from now, on the 25th, we're going to have the sun at 4 degrees of Cancer. So get excited, guys. Summer solstice coming up, or the winter solstice, depending on your hemisphere. We're going to have the moon in the waning phase, 27 degrees of Aquarius. We're going to have Mercury move up to 18 Cancer. Venus will move up to 10 Cancer. Mars will move to 12 Taurus. We're going to have Jupiter move to 7 Gemini. We've got Saturn not doing much, 19 still, 19 Pisces. Uranus is still going to be at 25 Taurus. We've got Neptune moving up a few minutes, 29-55 Pisces. And then we've got Pluto at 1 degree still. But, you know, nodes stay in the same spot. Lilith moves up a degree. She's almost done with Virgo. So there are quite a few shifts. We're going to take it step by step and really build a relationship with these planets, guys, because everything is relationship. So the first thing I want to talk about is the sun. The sun is quite afflicted right now on this Tuesday, the day that we're starting this. Let me show you guys the angles. And you might already be seeing this if you are a little bit versed in the astrology, but what we have right now is called a T-square. So that's two 90-degree angles, And then if you look at the one side, that's going to create the 180. So you've got Lilith and Neptune opposing each other, and then the sun is the fulcrum. So what the fuck is this shit? This is a lot of pressure, guys. And it's personal pressure. Dynamic changes are happening to all of us. You know, we are the world, we are the children, so to speak. And evolution is a constant process, and it's rolling in the deep. What you know about rolling down in the deep when your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, that shit. So we've had 28 days of Gemini. And this shit is beautiful, a headache for some. Gemini is an air sign. It's the first dual sign, first air sign. So the theme of the month that we've been having has been mentalism, embracing your perceptions, knowing that everything is mind. The same energy that creates your mind creates the perceptions of your mind. Everything is energy, guys. Energy gives life to matter. And it's worth that reminder. So beyond the more esoteric things I'm saying, guys, you'll see that the Gemini season has been about getting involved. Interaction is key. Communication is key. But also variety is the spice of life. So the month of Gemini has really forced us to make a lot of dynamic changes within our lives, or to change the way that we communicate, the way that we interact with the world, the way that we do our routine. Have you been imprisoning yourself in mindless routines? Have you had to rebel against them yet? I know I've been seeing that shit damn near all month. So I want to be clear, guys, when it comes to these archetypes, these energies, the sun in the solar system is the center that we all revolve around. It is because of the sun that we're able to see the planet. All life revolves around this sphere, all right? So if you want to take that as above, so below, you'll see that the sun really corresponds to your life force, your energy, your ego, your identity. These are all true, okay? So it could be said that because the sun is the center that everything revolves around, similarly, your ego could really show the quality of your character. This has been a character development week. And let me rewind just a second, because the sun has been having a hard time in Gemini this month. See, this is 2 weeks ago, June 4th. We had the sun applying square to Saturn, and once Saturn square broke out, then we moved in this Neptune square. So it's been a lot of changes being forced upon us this week, this month even, I should say. But especially right now, guys, because any planet aspecting the sun is going to inherently show different qualities that link to our energy levels and how we perceive ourselves, right? And here's the thing. Let's start with the bottom half of this T square, and then we'll move up to the top. Because Lilith is a little bit more esoteric, and I'm about to put you on game for both. So when it comes to the Sun-Neptune square, this is like the sun just jumped from Gemini to Pisces, because Pisces is the ruling home. Hold up. You get the idea what I'm saying before I even get it out. Pisces is the home of Neptune. And we have Neptune at home in the sign of Pisces. But with the sun making this hard angle, guys, we're really being able to transcend self. And we're having a great need or want to do that as well. Not just the ability, this is kind of the desire for all of us living our lives. So when we have the sun square Neptune, what you're going to really see is boundless sense of self. It may be kind of unclear where you start and stop and where the world begins. All right. And what this also plays out like is an abundance of emotion. And you've probably been seeing this play out for the last couple of days as we move closer. Tomorrow on Wednesday, the sun is going to be exactly square to Neptune, 29 degrees. Okay. An abundance of an emotion, maybe an exaggerated sense of an emotion. The beautiful thing about the Sun Neptune square is that this gives us amazing spiritual insights and downloads and a glimpse into the culture at large. Not just the abundance of an emotion, but an enhanced empathy, an ability to really feel so much deeper. For better or for worse, guys, these are truly neutral forces. So I'm trying my best to stay Uranus about this and just keep it level. You feel me? But On one level, you may kind of find that transcendental bliss, that peace of mind, that worry-free, carefree catharsis. But on another note, this could look like being lost in the sauce, overstimulated, having a need or a want to escape your life, trying to run away from shit, just feeling totally overwhelmed. So having a positive outlet to create is so key when it comes to Neptune's energy. On another note, guys, on a personal note, you'll see that a lot of us may be struggling with perfectionist tendencies right now. Seeing a higher ideal, having a great inner vision, and then feeling like we might be falling short of that as well. However that goes, you're going to feel much better when you find ways to give and support this world. I would recommend don't give at detriment to yourself. You can't give what you don't have, so it's always selfless to put yourself first. You may not agree with me, but I challenge you to see that with my selfish Leo sun ass, okay? I hope that helps somebody. Music is going to be really key, guys. Beyond just creativity in general, Neptune does encircle the sun in an almost perfect circle. So there's something to be said about rhythm when it comes to this planet and the beauty of music. So pay attention to the music that you listen to. Make sure that it really speaks to your soul. And you may notice downloads coming through song within this week, okay? So that's a really beautiful thing. Let's talk about the Lilith square as well. Before I get into that, last thing I want to say, we might dip back and forth into some of these planets, but deepening your connection with the culture is going to be really Sun square Neptune. Try not to run away from your life. The key, guys, is to build a life you don't need to escape from, okay? And I want to say, Sun Neptune square, the path of intoxication does yield many benefits. Addiction is not one of them. What benefits do you mean, Mark? Altered states, relaxation, mystical experiences, socialization. But addiction is not a benefit of intoxication. Addiction, by definition, is harmful when the things that we consume end up consuming us. So I'm just encouraging whoever needs to hear this to break free from addictions in your life, whatever that means to you. When your will to heal is stronger than your will to escape, you will go amazing places, guys. I promise you. And addiction is a natural response to unnatural circumstances. So if you do find yourself addicted, hear it from an addict himself. You have to address the root cause of your suffering. You have to really wonder why you use in the first place. And then by giving compassion, empathy, and conscience to that part of you that needs help, then you can transcend the suffering. The challenge is finding gratitude for the suffering as well. Gratitude is the attitude that transcends all suffering. And I'm not telling you to abuse yourself with empathy, like turning the other cheek over and over again and get slapped silly. No, that's not my message. I'm just saying evolution is the only solution. Self-mastery really is the only form of success, guys. So ultimately, how do you see the problems in your life as a gift? What do you receive from them? They may frustrate and piss you off or irritate you to no end, but it is your job, your responsibility to see, first of all, how do I inadvertently create this myself? Is there any way that I could stop creating this? And regardless of how that plays out, because there are some things outside of our control, guys, truly, all right? Some things that we got no business trying to control, barking up the wrong tree. The other thing is to say, what gift am I being given by these challenges? And by asking that question, we can end up framing life in a little bit more of a positive way, okay? Let's talk about the Sun Lilith square, and this is perfect today. So Lilith is the lunar apogee, and this is a big theme for the week, guys. I mean, in this T square, I'm already pointing towards it. I really recommend you guys that you find an app on your phone that you can watch these transits with, because I'm grateful to have your time and attention here. But in interest of you really living as a star in this realm, you will have to be able to check this. And think about this, guys. How do you know that what I'm saying is right? I mean, you can look at this shit and it might make sense to you, but like, Don't be afraid to literally use your eyes and go outside and point at these things and, get your telescope out and watch the movement and really ponder on it, okay? So I want to explain Lilith to you guys. And just understand that while the moon goes around the earth, which it always does, in its orbit. Well, let's make it go this way, like follow the arrow like a clock. The moon has an elliptical orbit, and that just means it's not perfectly circled. So you'll see that the moon in its transit will go kind of wobbly and move further out and then move closer in and then further out and then closer in. And that's just kind of how it goes. Okay. And there's a couple of versions of Lilith, like the asteroid and the lunar apogee. We're talking about the lunar apogee. And what that means is the furthest distance the moon could be from the Earth. That's Black Moon Lilith. So this isn't a celestial body per se. It's the mathematical point, the geometric point, you could say, that measures the moon's furthest distance. That's Black Moon Lilith. And if you were curious, the perigee is the closest distance, and that's called Selena. So we've got Selena conjunct Neptune, or you could say that's Lilith opposing Neptune. And that's that big red line in the middle of the chart that we've been talking about this whole video. So what does Lilith talk about? We're going to jump into the moon conversation pretty soon, right after the sun. But just understand, guys, that the moon is our inner world. This is our feeling nature. This is the instinctive and magical part of our mind. Because again, all is mind. Everything you will perceive and can't perceive is your mind, guys. So if you take nothing from this video but this, remember, your job in this life is to find freedom through your mind and not freedom from your mind. And under that circumstance, that mode of operation, life, projects, relationships, they get a lot more stable and productive, okay? And happy and fulfilling. And honest and integral. Oh, yes. So Lilith is the furthest the moon goes away. So this would indicate deep emotions, even hidden emotions, suppressed feelings sometimes. But also, when you consider the moon is our needs, the way we connect to the world, the way we seek out our comfort, there's something very enriching and nourishing about Lilith's energy. And this is kind of interesting, guys, because the lunar apogee will take about 9 months to switch signs of the zodiac. And the moon represents the womb, all the containers in the body, the mother energy. So how interesting is it that a woman's pregnancy is 9 months and the transit of Lilith takes 9 months as well? So this is reflective of the divine feminine, our dark feminine. And God is female. Don't get lost in the language, guys. Don't get lost in the sauce here, man. I'm just trying to point something out to you. Where the fuck do we come from? What the hell is God? Depending on who you ask, you'll get a million different answers. And the chances are they're all fucking correct and they're all incorrect, right? So I've studied far and fucking wide to try to find the truth and try to find some sense out of this fucking world, guys. And there's a million ways you can label and limit this. Words by definition encase ideas. So sometimes the more that you try to explain shit, the more that you actually limit it, okay? But the idea of divinity, the idea of God is the source, the everything, the all, where we all come from, all right? And look up into the sky, guys. You're either going to see clouds and light and blue or smog and a bright ball of gas, or you're going to see darkness and stars and the moon, all right? And I just want to point out to you guys that most of this shit is empty space. Like similarly in the atom, in that molecule, in the diagram of the atom, you've got the nucleus in the middle, the proton and the neutrons, and then you've got these electrons flying through the orbit, and they encircle the neutron, right? So same way with us, guys. We may think that life is solid because we are on the material plane of existence, but truly your body has over 99% empty space. Light passes through you always, constantly. But there are other things in this reality that are so dense, you can touch them and you can put your clothes on and you can sit on the floor or you can drive a car around and gravity holds us together and down. So the point is this, guys, God is everything and God is nothing. All right. And negative space, just like a blank canvas, is how we're able to create. I'm not trying to get too personal and subjective, guys, but the way I'm seeing God is really the undefined parameter, the parameter that doesn't even know it's a parameter, basically. So the idea is, guys, when it comes to Black Moon Lilith, this is primordial force. I want to define primordial because I understand this logically and intuitively, but I would like to get Oxford's help for just 1 second. Primordial definition. Primordial is an adjective, and it means existing at or from the beginning of time. The shit that always was, always is, and will ever be. Primordial. So Lilith helps us find our roots. And there's a different story for Lilith depending on who you ask. If you're intrigued by this conversation, I really encourage you. Ooh, because I feel it in my heart. I'm not trying to be aggressive. That was her. Ooh. Study Lilith because she's a real spirit. Some would say Lilith was the first woman ever to exist. So there's something to be said about this rich divine feminine energy. This is not just a reflection of the divine feminine. This is the divine feminine, guys. Ooh, I just figured out the title for this video. Ooh. Lilith always dwells inside of you guys. Ranish Vyasa Avaj Lilith Liraj. Invoke the goddess. She won't invoke herself, man. So here's the point, guys. Sun square to Lilith right now. This is like humanity's feeling homesick. If you just want my interpretation of this shit, man, a lot of us might be confronting our innermost needs, our most painful parts of ourselves. And there's a spectrum of polarity every time, or possibilities and polarity every. Let me restart the sentence before I just put in word soup. There's a spectrum of possibilities in every placement, and polarity exists in everything. Okay? So, while you might see this being a harder week, kind of confronting suffering on the deepest level, some people are feeling more alive than they've ever fucking felt in these transits as well. So I'm just trying to help you see some archetypes because chances are, man, you don't exist on one of these extreme poles. Somewhere in the middle is generally where we find most people, right? But if you've been feeling irritable, feeling tired, feeling exhausted, feeling strange, yeah, the sun is afflicted as fuck right now, guys. And it's really asking us to go back to our roots, to understand where the fuck did any of this come from? To embrace our divine feminine. It's a divine feminine uprising, guys. Fuck the patriarchy. This world is hyper masculine. And there's so many ways to perceive this world. It's completely infinite. There's infinite ways of perceiving this world. So while I share my truth with you guys, just remember it's a truth. I don't have the truth as much as I would love to with my third house Pluto ass. No. We have to come together to be able to build bridges of understanding. Okay? But I just see a lot of people really wanting to connect with their soul under these transits. If you look at the bottom half of the T-square with Neptune, this is a need to be involved in life in a much deeper way, fulfilling, giving our biggest version, our best version, striving for an ideal of perfection. But on the other note, Lilith rebels, Lilith opposes, Lilith refuses to submit. Because think about what a woman really is, guys. It's because of the grace of God, the goddess, and more so women, that we even exist. Yes, men plant the seed, but it takes a woman's love, care, and tender nurturing for 9 fucking months or more or less to really even be born in this realm, guys. So women nurture, women protect as well as provide. And I'm not here to tell you that any role is better than the other because truly, guys, divine union is what this world fucking needs. We need the masculine and the feminine to cooperate. we got Lilith in the feminine sign of Virgo. And what this really reflects to me is that we have to reach deeper inside of ourselves in order to nurture our innermost needs. And Virgo is a strange archetype. No disrespect to Virgo. I'm a Virgo rising, by the way. Like, we love Virgo. I'm built out of this energy. But Virgo inherently represents our ability to focus, to be precise, to change things, to adapt. It's mutable earth, changing, adapting, and modifying and dispelling earth, resources, time, visceral, tangible logic. So Virgo is the self-improvement sign. If I'm going to show you this really quick, guys, just understand the signs and houses are not the same. They're two different things. But let's just say that the houses had a parallel. Like the first house was Aries, second was Taurus, third was Gemini, fourth was Cancer, fifth was Leo. This would make the sixth one Virgo, okay? And recognize that when it comes to this natal chart that you have or that you see in the sky, the bottom of the chart, the first six houses are underneath the horizon. So houses 7 through 12, they're above the horizon. The bottom of the chart reflects the more introverted and hidden part of ourself that's self-referential. The top of the chart, the upper hemisphere of the chart, reflects the extroverted characteristics and how we interact with the world and how we're seen externally and how we, again, interact with people in the world. So when you think about the sixth house, the Virgo archetype, this is really about changing yourself, improving yourself. Virgo has a lot of significations. Service is one, helping is another, healing is one. So these are all themes for the 9 months of Lilith Virgo. And we're going to go through a transition in 2 weeks. So this is our last week of Lilith Virgo, guys. And with Lilith applying an opposition to Neptune, God is like begging us, please, transcend all this darkness. You can't transcend it without embracing it. Recognize there's nothing fucking wrong with this world or you or the people in it. And I'm not saying this as a form of avoidance. We're trying to get as Virgo as we can, not Neptune, not Pisces. Like, while there are things in this life that you can't accept and you may need to change because your innermost convictions and soul beg you to do so, just recognize that your problems can come with solutions, and this doesn't mean it's the end of the world when you gotta make changes or adjustments or put death to a part of yourself or cut off a relationship or stop a habit or switch countries or completely reinvent your life, man. The word I get from Virgo Lilith is forgiveness. It's like forgiving and not forgetting. Remember, be present, be consciously aware of all this shit. Don't neglect things, guys, because this 9 months has been a trip. And because Virgo is so focused on self-improvement or service to others, what you'll see through polarity is that Virgo corresponds to the archetype of denial and guilt, shame and hiding. You know, so what we don't need to do is hide from shit right now. Inevitably, this is part of life and any transit under any cycle. But do your best to rise up and to embrace the darkness, to take the parts of yourself that you may scorn or deem unworthy or hide from or reject and send love to them anyway. Love yourself anyway. In this broken world full of despair, loving yourself and embracing joy can be seen as an act of defiance. Rise the fuck up, man. You deserve to live a good life. You deserve to live your best life. And this is fierce protection from spirit. But ultimately, you got to be willing to ride for yourself too, for spirit to want to ride as well. When Lilith applies to Neptune, I'm feeling a deep surrender in the collective. And let's do the math, guys. Let me move forward. So 1 week from now, that's the 25th, we're going to have Lilith at 2938. Let's bump it up day by day. It's going to be next Thursday. So not this Thursday this week, but the following Thursday. We'll see Lilith, Thursday, Friday. We'll see Lilith making the perfect opposition to Neptune as the moon crosses Neptune in Pisces. So we got deep release coming, guys. And this week is pretty powerful because speaking of deep release, we are going to have one of the most powerful full moons of the year. And you'll hear me say this a couple times every year. Really, the most powerful full moons of the year are going to be the Cancer full moon, where the moon is home, the Capricorn full moon, which is this one, where the moon is away in its detriment, or the moon in Scorpio being full, where the moon is in the sunken place, the fall. Or you may see the Taurus one as well, where it's exalted, where the moon has special dignities. That's going to be the most intense full moon. So we do have one of these lunations this week, guys, and we're going to talk about it. And speaking of the moon, let's move the sun forward a couple days, guys, because on Thursday, we're going to have the summer solstice if you're in the northern hemisphere. But if you're in the southern hemisphere, this is going to be the winter solstice. So happy Yule, happy Letha to my pagans out here, man. Gang, gang. How are you guys celebrating the Sabbats? Let me know in the comments. So the summer solstice is when the sun moves into the tropical Cancer. All right. And then we're going to have 30 days of feeling. So we go from air to water, guys. So this is actually a more dense vibration. Think about the way the world works. The air is above the water. So we're going to go lower. We're going to go into our bodies more. We're going to be more grounded. Things will slow down a little bit. Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and where Mercury is concerned, things happen fucking fast, y'all. So if you've been feeling like it's hard to catch your breath, just know that there's been some intense energy, man, and things are going to really stabilize a little bit, y'all. So good times are coming, and get the fuck excited. I'm very fucking excited. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just trying to be honest, y'all. Like this T square that we were just talking about, I feel like the world, or at least my life, has been being ripped apart. Things have been falling out of my life that don't need to be there, and I've been embracing more truth. But you know, sometimes that's bittersweet, having to make those sacrifices for your growth, having to sever in order to be free. And if you've been watching Mars Day with Mark over the last year, Saturn Pisces energy, you know, the universe is trying to teach us how to understand the value of our sacrifices. And this will be a theme for another year or so. And you just got to know that your inner vision is a big part of what the universe corresponds with. Okay? So trust that vision. The sun in Cancer is going to switch the themes entirely, guys. So the summer solstice, we're kind of going to turn that wheel. And this is going to be max tilt or minimum tilt, depending on the hemisphere, you know. So you're either going to see the longest day or the shortest day. And for me, guys, it's summertime. And I'm excited. So make sure you guys get some vitamin D on your skin. Make sure you have fun. Make sure you really enjoy your life. Let that be the theme of this season. Cancer also has different significations, just like anything else. And the beauty of astrology, which I really want to articulate, is that this is a language of symbols. And when you understand the archetypes enough to get a few correspondences under your mind, you'll be able to read this out in your mother tongue, in English or French or Spanish or Swahili or whatever you end up speaking. You'll be able to really translate it and listen and get messages from the universe. It's a very beautiful thing. And ultimately, it's not what you're seeing, it's how you see it. You know the Rorschach test where it's like there's blobs of ink on a paper? And they're literally just ink blobs. Like they splash ink on a paper. And this was a psychological test. They still do this. But the idea is you show these pictures to your subject and you ask them what they see. And there's no right or wrong answer, guys. They're ink blobs. Same thing with the fucking transits. But what you see says a lot about who the fuck you are. You could show one paper of an ink blot to somebody and be like, wow, that's a truck. That's a fire truck. That's a happy cloud. And then you could show it to some mentally disturbed neurotic person and be like, that's a family. I'm not even going to say it. Like that's domestic violence, you know, or that's the apocalypse, you know. It's really reflecting what's inside of you. Wayne Dyer is a pretty cool guy. Shout out to his Pisces rising ass. But I know He used this analogy like when life presses on you, it's like an orange being squeezed. Like if you squeeze an orange, what comes out of it, guys? There's really only one answer, and the answer is orange juice. It couldn't be apple juice, it couldn't be grape juice, it couldn't be Mountain Dew voltage. It's going to be fucking orange juice. All right. The key here, the meaning of this message is that when life pushes on you, the only thing that can come out of you is the contents inside of you. All right. So with the Sun square Neptune, I'm rewinding just a little bit because it's going to be really a Sun square Neptune week. Even as the Sun goes into Cancer, we'll have the Sun waning out over the rest of the week, but you'll still feel the glow of this Neptune energy. This is the self-identifying with everything in the universe. Okay. So while you may be able to integrate this lesson holistically and see how you do create things through the perceptions you hold or the ways that you judge the world, it's not uncommon for these Sun Neptune angles for us to really attribute the unexpressed parts of ourselves to others. And that's really something to think about. What I mean is the projections become elite. And you may not realize that what you're receiving is what you're fucking sending, guys. So I'm here to remind us once again, we can really only really expect what we project. Okay? So my challenge for everybody listening today is live your best life this week. Sleep more and get more restful sleep. Be careful how you program yourself because everything is energy. Consume good things in your diet, good food, good water, good company. Positive thoughts will change your life. Try not to be fascinated with the bullshit, okay? I know I needed that message this week, so I'm giving it to y'all. Try not to be fascinated with the bullshit. Some of my serial problem solvers need to hear that again. Try not to be fascinated with the bullshit. While it is intriguing, just know that life is corresponding with your vision. So pay attention to the way you see yourself too. This is a real Sun conversation, guys. The life you have revolves around your identity. So choose to see yourself in a positive way. Hold your head up high. Keep your back straight, shoulders back. Breathe life into your body and know that you are an integral part of the world, guys, because this is really moon energy for the next 30 days. Cancer is ruled by the moon. So while we do have a major lunation, just understand, guys, we're on moon timing for 30 days after the summer solstice. And that means you really have to embrace your inner world. The obligation of the moon is to trust. The vision is to see the machinery of the universe and just recognize and know, guys, that the universe has no spare, missing, or extraneous parts. Everything is because it has to be. We all create this reality collectively. All right. So the challenge I'm seeing here is to bridge the gap between us and the disconnection. You don't have to like everything in this life, guys. You don't have to like everybody in this life, but just be willing to accept things and life is going to get a whole lot easier for us, okay? Acceptance, genuine, radical acceptance is the key to transcendence, okay? So the moon, in addition to everything we've talked about, governing our feelings and our emotions and how we seek our security in the inner world, this will correspond to the past, our mother, our childhood, the way that we were conditioned and shaped and formed by social and familial expectations, okay? So you're going to see this being more of a nostalgic month. Us want to, once again, connect to our roots. And, we're going to have the Sun square Lilith really the whole week too, breaking out. So embrace the divine feminine, call upon the goddess, call upon Lilith, call upon your mother's spirit, and call upon the mother within. Isis, Bast, Aphrodite, Hecate, Ereshkigal. I could list this shit for days. Let's just, you should get the idea. Freya, Frigga, the mother goddesses, the divine feminine. So when it comes to the priority, the wants, the needs of the Sun in 30 days, guys, it's going to be about a stable home life, about comfort, peace, connection, intimacy. So I want you guys to know there's a difference between heredity, and family. While we don't necessarily have a choice in heredity, our roots, where we come from, and it's arguable, yeah, my soul chose my family, but is that useful knowledge? Fuck no, it isn't. Sometimes it is, but when it comes to like family issues or domestic issues, you can't change your family that you inherited from circumstance, but you can choose who you bring close to you, okay? And that's what Cancer is. This is the heart space. This is the crab. So crabs have a shell, a tough exterior, pinchers. They're very defensive, but they're also very connected and familial. And they got a soft underbelly. And they're delicate on the inside and fucking delicious. I don't know if y'all get down like that, man, but I want to go eat a seafood boil. It's been too long. Got my Venus Cancer thinking about food right now. But also, nurturing. So food will be an even bigger priority. Indulgence will be high. We have the sun conjunct to Venus this week at whatever orb. So love is really in the air, guys. Relationships are taking on a predominating significance, not just for connection, but also for self-identification's sake. And that's pretty cool. When the sun trails Venus, or vice versa, that's like Leo Venus energy. And just make sure that you aren't seeking outside of yourself for something that you could provide yourself. We are social creatures. We do need one another and each other. But you can't neglect your own needs, and you can't abdicate responsibility to others, because that's when love starts to turn evil, or we start attaching to others because of fear or ignorance. And then when we inevitably come to our senses, or they do, or where there has to be boundaries, then we can start to feel rejected or harmed when there really need not be any discrepancies. I'm gonna let the cat in the room. Don't be ready. Say hi to the camera. This is Mirage. Mirage wanted to say hi. This is my moon. This is my heart. She said, I'm camera shy. So, what does your heart say, guys? That's the theme of the week that we're heading into. And this will be the reverberation of the month. Okay? So, on the same day of the solstice, this will really be Friday. So, actually, the day after, we're going to have the sun and the moon opposite, which is our full moon phase. So, where we start this week, it's a waxing moon, somewhere between the first quarter and the full moon. But on Friday, we're going to see this opposition. All right? And like I said, this is one of the most intense full moons of the year because the moon is in its detriment, the moon in Capricorn. In the most simplistic way I could explain this, guys, every full moon is a release. Capricorn is structures, the way that we build our life. And this is going to be as above, so below, physical, material, and esoteric. Okay? We're going to release limitations. We're going to release things that hold us back. Insecurities are going to be confronted across the board. No matter where this falls in your houses, insecurities are going to rise up. And you're going to be the one that has to deal with that shit. Trying to ride away from your fears. Confront them, guys, because fear is a natural part of life. And it's considered negative emotion because fear hits our endocrine. It turns us fight or flighty. And a lot of people don't like living in that fight or flight mode. We'd rather be comfortable. We'd rather be peaceful. But just know that fear protects us from danger, guys. If you had no fear, you wouldn't have made it this far. Straight up. None of us would have. You need not hate your fear. You need to love the fear. Recognize that insecurities are inner security systems, and they protect you from some shit. So the question then becomes, what is my heart saying? What the fuck is this fear trying to protect me from? Really take the time to think about it and ask yourself. And that's going to be the key to growth and success with all that you color yourself with. All right? And also, if we could get more specific about these significations, Capricorn is the dad, Cancer is the mom. So this full moon does highlight family issues, for better or for worse. That's neutral. Issue is not good or bad, but just dynamics, events. Family matters is the key this week, guys. And like I said, once again, guys, you may not have the choice to choose your mom and dad or your brothers and sisters or your aunts or uncles, but you can fucking choose who you let close to you. If people consistently cause you harm, discomfort, don't listen to you, love doesn't equal lies, guys. So, like, if people don't give you or reciprocate what you provide for them, that's going to be unsustainable. For some people, it's very uncomfortable to look at this elephant in the room because they think relationships should not be transactional. Just understand unconditional love is not unconditional relationships. Every relationship has somewhat of a bank account. And everybody provides for each other in different ways, but I'm just telling you, if you make consistent deposits in somebody else without having them make a deposit and they just withdraw, you will go bankrupt, man. So, do we have our symbiotic relationships? Are they parasitic? That's the question, guys. Let's try to structure these things in a way that they're conducive to both parties. Let's try not to be a parasite, and let's try not to enable others to be weak or dependent on us. Okay? If you love something, set it free, man. Serve others from a place of strength. And the best gift you can give anybody in this life is an example. The best gift you can give anybody in this life is an example. So once again, this cycle of release that we're going to start on Friday night in my time zone, I'm in CST. And you can look at your local ephemeris or look at the calendar, Google it. You can find through your time zone what time the full moon is going to peak wherever you happen to be. And you can plan your rituals or whatever accordingly and think about what you need to let go of. A big theme for this lunation is letting go of fears. You can't leave something until you love it. So until you recognize what the fuck these fears are trying to protect you from, it's going to be damn near impossible for you to transcend and release them. Confirmation cat. What a beautiful animal. Meow, meow, meow. I hear you. Yes, baby. Come here, baby. Share some love with the collective. Speak into the mic, baby. She just wanted me to hold her. We're going to do the rest of this video with the cat scarf. Look at this beautiful animal, guys. She purring her dick off. All right. I also just want to say, guys, my layout on Solar Fire is fucking amazing. So you may see, and I made this myself, you may see like a couple bells and whistles beneath and above the chart, the side of it. Hi. The real thing is motherfuckers be drowning, man. There's so much water in this chart. Oh my Lord. An abundance of emotions. So here come the waterworks, man. Feel your feelings. There's nowhere in the universe that feels the way Earth does. So while it's sometimes more fun to escape our emotions, to run from how we feel, I'm encouraging you to embrace those emotions. Life is multidimensional as a human, an amalgamation of fire, water, air, and earth. So don't get lost in your feelings thinking that you are them. You're not your feelings. You're not your thoughts. Your feelings is like the chalice on the altar of your soul. So let your emotions be an offering to the divine. Okay? I want to close the gap. I feel like we've had some strong moon energy. And I mean, shit, dude, here we go again. Oh shit. So all week, guys, we're gonna have Mercury in the sign of Cancer. So Mercury is how we think, it's how we communicate, it's the powers of perception, it's our mind. So the mind is really connecting more to the body and more to the heart. Mercury, Cancer. You also see that the subtle awareness is heightened. Being able to read the language of energy is more easy when Mercury is in Cancer. One translation of this is thinking about the past as well, reminiscing or suffering from memories. Either way that goes, man, this is thinking and communicating through the heart. The gift here, guys, is how to speak love and life into each other and ourselves. So let that be the message you came here to receive. Speak love and life into yourself this week. You know, Mercury moves faster than any other planet. So the aspects, we could talk about these, we could break them down. I'm watching the column as I'm moving around. I'm saying once again, guys, you are going to want to find an app or some software where the moment you have the thought to check the astrology, you can just check it out on your phone and see where these planets are so you can build a relationship with them, guys. Because these things move in real time. So I'm not going to talk about the aspects to Mercury because they're a little harder to pin down. They move so quick. We got Venus in the sign of Cancer. The way we love is also going to be Cancer. The way we connect is going to be Cancer. So people are really going to be seeking depth, seeking closeness, intimacy, good food, good company, physical touch is also going to be a theme when it comes to Cancer. Have you guys ever loved somebody so much that you just feel like you can't get close enough to them? Like that's Cancer energy, the want to connect. So love and be loved this week, guys. Venus and Cancer. Let's talk about Mars. Mars is going through some shit right now. Mars is the masculine energy. Venus is the feminine. And you got Mars in Taurus. So the whole desire, the whole motive of Mars right now is stability, comfort, resources. You could even say self-preservation or security, an aversion to risk. So life is risky, man. So this is kind of like a fleeting goal for some. But on a more positive note, Mars and Taurus will help us take care of ourselves, protect ourselves, and really acknowledge our true needs. But I will say, think about this chart like a clock, guys, where the further planets out, like Uranus, move slower. Mars is closer to the sun. So it's like the second hand. Let's say Uranus is like the minute hand, and then Mars would be like the second hand. And then Pluto would be like the hour hand, basically. So what this means, guys, is that at some point Mars will cross over Uranus. Mars went into Taurus a couple weeks ago, but Uranus has been here for a hot fucking minute. So you always got to consider the outermost planet when it comes to the transit of the inner ones, okay? I hope that makes sense because this is the point I'm trying to illustrate is that, you know, while Mars in Taurus has a spectrum in itself and it's going to help us slow down on some level, embrace our true needs, find better ways to do things, develop and cultivate our will, or maybe on a more negative side, embrace laziness. And that could be good too, but you know, this might have us feeling exhausted or maybe even just frustrated with life itself. You know, that's the negative parts of it. You're going to see Uranus is already in this bitch. And because Uranus is one of the newer planets, as opposed to Mars, we needed to invent a telescope to really be able to agree on this fact that Uranus exists collectively, meaning this is the new kid on the block. Uranus isn't widely agreed upon where its rulership exists. Most would say it, you know, rules over Aquarius. So this planet reflects change and the community and the collective and individuation, how we really connect with our truth. Some would say that Uranus goes through its fall in the sign of Taurus. Whether you believe that or not is kind of besides the point. But the point is, guys, Uranus is making fast, big changes on Earth. And while these may sometimes jump out at you out of the blue, this is a 7-year transit, Uranus and Taurus. So 7 years can be kind of a gradual shift, But if you notice, like, life is certainly not how it was 4 years ago, right? Like, didn't COVID change fucking everything? Oh, it certainly did. And that's a different cycle in itself, Uranus-Pluto conjunction. or not Uranus, Pluto, Saturn, Pluto conjunction in the sign of Capricorn, immune suppression, global pandemic. I'm digressing for just 1 second because I just want to put some seeds in people's minds so they can kind of see where I'm coming from. That like the cycle of Uranus, fuck, I keep saying Uranus because this is the theme. The cycle of Saturn, Pluto, often corresponds with epidemics and pandemics. Pattern recognition, history repeats itself until we get the message. And sometimes it's just going to repeat even if we understand it. All right. So things are changing fast, guys. And this feels like for some a rock and a hard place. Like Uranus wants to speed the Earth up and Mars wants to slow it down on some level. So your challenge right now in this month, because while we have Cancer season, Mars will be in the sign of Taurus. Your challenge now, guys, is to be calm amidst the chaos. We'll talk more about it as the time comes by, but on July 14th, 15th, somewhere in that day period, you will see Mars conjunct Uranus. And this will liberate our energy, but just no pressure builds until that point, okay? So your best bet is to find an avenue, channels for your aggression, channels for your energy. You can never go wrong building up your body, guys. The body is your temple. And really, I heard this said, and I love this phrase, the body is the report card of the soul. So if your health isn't where you want it to be, what changes can we make now to make our health even better? This is key. Health is wealth, guys. If you're in debt to yourself, you can't buy a motherfucking thing. All the money in the world will mean nothing in your deathbed. Okay? So, on this same language, massive shift of values. You may notice, guys, that even the last couple weeks with Mars going into Taurus, making us confront these energies, you probably don't even like the same shit you liked weeks ago. Damn sure don't like the same things you liked 4 years ago. But yeah, big changes are happening personally and interpersonally, collectively. Big economic changes are happening with Uranus and Taurus. Taurus rules money. It's the first Venus sign. So hasn't inflation been fucking crazy in the last couple of years? Inflation is a constant process. We have, I don't want to make this all about economy, but it is something to think about. Values are shifting, guys. So don't get so wrapped up in the money. Money is a means to provide. It is resource, and it means freedom for a lot of us. But just know that there's many ways to get it. Uranus and Taurus asks us to find new ways to make money. And to do work with integrity. I don't know what this means to you, man, but don't sell out. That's what I'm saying. In God we trust, not the money itself. In God we trust. Read the dollar. It says that shit. Let's talk about Jupiter, guys. Jupiter is the biggest planet. So Mars and Taurus just asking us to chill the fuck out, guys. Let's enjoy our life. Live it to the fullest. Period. Jupiter is teaching us a whole lot of shit, as it does every day, but expansion in the mind. We have 1 year of Jupiter Gemini. So really what I find with this one is it adds confidence to our perceptions or confusion. And there's our spectrum right there, where you might find yourself way more interested in learning and developing and growing, teaching yourself a lot of things, perhaps. But on some level, Jupiter Gemini kind of feels like existential crises because when you have one idea, it poses a million fucking questions. And we may be able to see how deep and interconnected things are. And that might prompt us to not really feel like we got the right picture. The beauty can be in the details, but the devil can be in the details too, man. So try not to rack your brain around minutia around this time. Spirit conversations is a really Jupiter Gemini thing where polarity. So check it out. You may be finding downloads and insight coming way more rapidly and you being able to really communicate with your guides and your higher self easily. Or for those that have kind of already had that in their life, they might be like, where the fuck is spirit? Are you guys even hearing me? What the fuck is going on? So you may be kind of finding, if you're the latter type, that the challenge for you right now is to trust your own voice. Trust your own knowledge. Embrace the things that you know. Recognize you don't have to have all the answers. Questions are great, man. We love to learn, but you don't have to have all the answers. Everybody has a truth, not the truth. So using our mind interactively, giving others the gift of our information can help others learn, and we can even grow and refine our own ideas with discussion. So that's what I'm getting at. Saturn Pisces, Neptune Pisces. Life is literally what you make it, guys. The beautiful thing about Saturn Pisces, a couple things. Building our dreams, being able to really create our imagination tangibly, but also clearing our karma. The planet of reality, Saturn, in the sign of transcendence, Pisces. So recognizing the causal effects and how we interact with the world, how our operative powers of creation, whether they are conscious or unconsciously used, creates the life that we live. Saturn Pisces is like getting over our own bullshit, taking spiritual accountability all the way down to the physical, saying, I create my life. Nobody else creates my life. I'm in control. I will surrender to the forces outside of my control, and I will work with them to the best of my ability. I will be accountable, and I will do my best. I will live and operate to the highest standard of ethics that I know possible. I will give a good example to the world. I understand the value of my sacrifices. I'm living in alignment with my inner vision. Okay? That's the words. We back these up with actions. Pluto is in Aquarius, guys, retrograde. And Pluto goes retrograde about half the year, every year, give or take. So I just want to say that we had a conversation about Uranus. Uranus is said to rule Aquarius. So this just talks about a massive collective shift. 20 years of Pluto Aquarius. But you will see with the retrograde, Pluto will dip back into Capricorn around September. So we'll have our final taste of Pluto Cap, which is the old structures crumbling. And this is power to the people. It's freedom through the mind, or a war on the mind, however you want to see it. But ultimately, humans are evolving, and that's undisputed. So integrity is a valuable currency right now, guys. Modeling your truth. While some people may not pretend to be influenced with your actions and energy, trust and know, guys, that you influence everything in this world, and your energy goes to all the corners of the universe. You fucking matter, dude. That's what I'm saying. And especially when Neptune's really kicking, which it is, it's easy to get kind of nihilistic or depressed or overwhelmed or careless. But I'm trying to tell everybody, man, everything fucking matters. Don't let that logic beat you to death where it's like you got to overthink every fucking choice. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, man, choose to show up every single day. Choose to be a leader every day. Choose to set a good example. And just remember that everybody notices us, okay? They really do. Even if we try to hide or retreat from the world, people know that we're doing this shit. So just do your best, guys. Your best is more than enough. And that'll fluctuate day to day. So don't beat yourself up when you're not hitting as high of a score as you want. Be compassionate to yourself. And then you can model this for others, and you can give others that gift, man, while encouraging them to be better as well. There's no competition, man. This is collaboration. This is collaboration. Okay? We can do way more unified than divided. A unified effort will always yield more than an individual one. And that's the message of Pluto and Aquarius, guys, is that for us to really create a unified world, we must rise above the fear of connection, the fear of alienation, the fear of being ostracized. A lot of us are really waking up to the matrix with Pluto Aquarius, realizing that, the consensus reality is something we all exist in, and it's conformity. It's based on fear. So in order to build a better world, we have to rise above the fear. And when you disconnect from this fear-based world, you're going to be afraid of it naturally, re-entering it. And this is the first stage of individuation, guys. Rejecting assimilation because you're afraid of being reabsorbed by the consensus. So I'm telling you guys, your unique, true expression will uplift the world. Not everybody's going to like that shit. They don't fucking have to. Roughly 70% of the world will exist in the consensus state. And it has to. The numbers will fluctuate, percentage levels vary, but I'm telling you guys, we're going to see a more individuated world, a more unified world very fucking soon. And this is the beautiful thing that I'm really seeing, and I'm willing into existence myself. And I'm grateful for everybody else who has a similar vision and values and interests and wants to build this world with me. Let's fucking go, Fire Family. The Neptune Lilith opposition is really what I want to drive home and leave us to think about, guys, because we're moving into Lilith and Libra. And this is going to be 9 months of a whole different type of spirit medicine and divine feminine healing. Just understand, guys, there's levels to this shit. The spiritual plane is on the top. The mental plane sits right under. The emotional plane is a little bit deeper. And then the physical plane is the last. All right. In terms of density, Earth is as solid as it gets. All right. So the point here, guys, is that a lot of us are getting kind of mixed up with the fire, water, and the earth. Trying not to be a perfectionist. It's great to have an all-inclusive inner vision that really holds a better possibility for all of us. But just know, man, that's the map. Don't mistake the map for the terrain and get lost in the sauce. You have the power to create, and Rome wasn't built in a day. The great work takes a great amount of effort and a great amount of time, and we can't do this work ourselves, guys. So like Pluto said, how can you enlist the help of others? By leading by example. Let your actions speak louder than words. Let your words be heard too. Your voice matters, but just back it up with action. If we don't practice the principles we preach, we just fucking talk, or at worst, lie. Let's not do that. This is the type of time we're on, guys. North Node in Aries. Blaze your own trail. Embrace the inner flame. Be a pioneer. Explore the uncharted territory. Forget what you think you know or what other people like and just go for it. Embrace your own impulses. And sometimes you don't need a fucking map. You just got to take action. That's actually how you figure yourself out. And that's what Spirit's asking us to do, is go forward into the self, into the inner temple, Aries energy. You feel me? So build and cultivate and develop yourself. And I'm seeing with Chiron up in the mix here, there's a lot of self-healing, a lot of identity healing as well. Chiron, Aries people are having their Chiron return, so solidifying and reinforcing identity is actually bringing forth healing in the world. You may not be for everybody, guys, but I'm telling you, if you're enough for you, if you can truly love and embrace and accept yourself, you will do your part and you'll lift the world up through that very act of acceptance, okay? Can you do that for us? If you won't do it for you, do it for us, please. Even though you're going to do it for yourself. Be selfish. Enjoy that shit, man. And recognize that the more you give yourself, the more you have to give to others. So Lilith and Libra, we're going to talk about this a lot over 9 months. But what you're going to see, guys, is that the world is going to be burning for truth, burning for beauty, and burning for love. And illusions, lies, the Maya, the vanity, the fuckery, the secrets even, these are going to be exposed. A world without secrets will bring you peace unless you have something to hide. And I think that's all I got for you guys. I could yap your ear off, but I respect your time and mine. So let your life be divine. Fire family, I love the fuck out of you. If you hate this video, dislike it. If you liked it, even a little bit, please hit that like button. It'll boost the interaction. Algorithm will send this to more people. We can continue the mission. If you have suggestions on how to make this series better, please let me know, because I'm ready to grow. I love you from the bottom of my soul and the top of my heart and mind. I will see you guys next time. Blessed be.